I had to watch Venom. I
You did.
I chose my movie well. Venom.
Did you choose it well? I
Well-
guess it depends on your end goal.
I've chosen it well for this show because it's a pretty piece of work.
Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. It's Hate Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
This week we're looking at a movie that I picked because it's a movie that I never saw except the trailer, and the trailer was terrible. So I was like, I will not go see this movie because it's probably terrible. And lo and behold, it turned out to be terrible. It is Venom.
I would agree.
Venom from 2018, which Tony did see in the theater and immediately forgot.
And apparently purchased on demand, and then also forgot that I did that. So, hey, great job, Venom, on getting my money for no reason.
That's the marketing campaign works when Tony sees the movie and buys the movie and dislikes it both times.
And then didn't even remember that happened.
Yes.
I mean, that might speak more on me than anything else, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So this gem is from 2018, and the running time was an hour and 52 minutes, but with all the credits, it was an hour and 35 minutes. So there was 17 minutes of credits at the end of that. I mean, it's probably
That
all the
feels
international
like-
stuff.
Sure. It just feels like a lot of people to work on this movie from 2018 because it looks like a movie from like 2005, maybe?
I would think that the special effects in the Spawn movie were better
We're better.
than the special effects in this movie.
Yeah, it looked real bad. I was a little surprised and disappointed.
There's like, yeah, I mean, what are the special effects in this movie? I mean, there's the blobby monsters that goop around, right?
Right. That don't look good at all.
I mean, would I say they didn't look good? I mean, they looked like they should look. There wasn't anything there that surprised me, but there wasn't anything there that bothered me.
I don't think that it bothered me so much as like there was just this weird ink stain moving around the screen at all times, and I was like, I want to either think that it's cool, scary, or gross, and I didn't feel like any of those things were true.
That's true. It did not elicit a response where, like, if you put me in a room with that, you'd freak out because it's an alien, but you wouldn't be like, sure. Shit, this alien's going to bite off my foot or poke me in the eye. Yeah. You're just like, it's going to ooze on me and I'll be oozed on, and that would be gross.
And then maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. So, like, it's not a big deal, really, if you think about it. It's fine.
Yeah. And I mean, there was this whole arbitrary nature to, like, who can it bond with and who can it can't bond with. And then they sort of threw that out the window, and it was just sort of like, well, if you're a major character that we need to work with, you'll work
then it'll bond with you.
And didn't Venom at one point say, I've looked so long for you, and now I found you? And did Venom really look that long for
I mean,
him?
I think it was days, maybe.
But
right?
I mean,
like, unless...
Wasn't it kind of one and done? Did it inhabit a bunch of... It
didn't really
inhabit a bunch of other people. It just sort of...
Well, he was in the homeless lady.
Yeah.
And, like, that might have felt like a really long journey. I don't know. Maybe alien time's different than human time. And that was, like, decades in his life.
They were in that comet a long, long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically... it starts with this creepy music. I like that creepy music. It was creepy. And so, which was telling us this is not your normal Marvel movie. It's different. It's creepy.
It's creepy, guys. Yay.
Get scared. It's not going to be like
Get
a normal
ready,
Marvel
everybody.
movie. It's not going to be. God, I was watching stuff about Deadpool, and there's the line where he's fighting Forge. And Forge says something to him, and he's like, "That's so dark. It's like you're from the DC universe." Like we said it 10 times better than that. But it's just like the jokes in that movie. Such a bunch of good jokes.
Yeah.
Let's just talk. Can we just talk about Deadpool and Deadpool?
Yeah, you know what? Forget Venom. Let's just scoot that aside.
Even Deadpool 2 will go there. Yeah, I watched that whole scene where the X-Force is like jumping out of the plane.
Jumping out of the plane? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty great. Gets caught in the wire.
Him arguing with Domino about luck, and then she does all that great stuff. It's like, I mean, that's the whole thing is movies like Venom have that they have to go up against. And it's like, how the hell are you going to survive with this weak sauce that they have?
Yeah.
So Spaceship is like coming back, Mission Control, do you have the specimens? Yes, we've got the super secret. You're like, oh my God, wow. Could you spell it out for us a little more?
And here's right off the bat when I can't remember I think Jenny Slate is one of the doctors, and I can't remember the main guy doctor's name, but when they were there and she's in like a lab coat and he's like the head honcho, I was like, oh no, I don't buy any of this. Right off the bat, I'm totally out because I just don't believe that A, he'd be the head of a company, or B, that she's like this head scientist lady. I just had both of the villains, whatever. Both of like those people, I was like, I don't buy them in their positions at all.
Yeah, because you go back to like what Jenny Slate's. I mean, like I've said before, I love comedic actors as just straight up actors, but no, Jenny Slate, you're like, oh man, she's so quirky and alternative and weird, and then she's like, I'm serious and like essentially has nothing to do with it, I guess is the thing is like, hire comedic actors to do something. But if it's just a vanilla role, which this role, there was nothing there for her to even chew on. Yeah.
Either comedically or dramatically.
Yeah.
It was just just a one note shitty character. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's not Jenny's fault because I generally enjoy her a lot.
Yeah.
But this movie,
yeah, it's like if you're gonna hire someone like that, you've got to hire them for a reason. There's no reason for her to be in this movie. I mean, it's a great paycheck for her, and it's wonderful and all that, wonderful. But it's like, what's she doing there? And what's his name? The dude that plays Elon Musk. It's like you don't buy it. He's like 19 years old. You're like,
and like. I guess maybe they're going for like tech giant, like, oh, he's in Silicon Valley or some shit. I don't know.
Well, he's Elon Musk because Elon Musk does all that stuff and he has the rockets.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the bit is Elon Musk and it's like, well, make him something. He's just kind of like, it was crazy. At some point, he gives the same speech that, what's his name gave in Boss Level. He gives the same speech as Mel Gibson.
Oh, Mel?
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same speech. Yeah. It's like, I'm crazy, but I'm here to solve the world's problems. Yeah. And I guess that's your new villain. Your new villain is the guy that's a monster who says he's going to solve the world's problems, but we know he's not really going to. He just wants power. And it's all this subtext. You're like, just give us somebody who's bad for a reason, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Or someone who can play bad, because he did not play the menacing version. Like, he was never intimidating or scary. And when he would say like his evil lines, I found them laughable. I was like, this guy, A, he doesn't believe that he's going to do any of these things. And B, he sounds like a child. He sounds like a little boy just being like, well, I'm going to do stuff to you, guy. It's like, come on.
Golly, you hurt my feelings. I mean, the dude's a really good actor too. You kind of don't blame the actors. You blame where they've been put, and the biggest blame of all is going to be on poor Tom Hardy, who. So the ship crashes in Malaysia. One of the monsters gets out, but the other three they ship back to the U.S. and the one monster then goes and gets in the astronaut, destroys an ambulance, and then
I don't even I know what you're talking about because I did watch this last night, but I don't remember the sequence of this happening. The first thing that I remember with the alien is the farmer's market.
I mean, when
When
he
is
walks
that?
into town. I'm
Yeah,
trying to think
like
if
that's
that
the first
happens.
time I remember.
No, I think that happens later. I think we have
I'm
the
sure you're right.
crash set up, and then the alien goes into the astronaut who puts in the ambulance, and the ambulance crashes, and then we have the Venom titles, like we care, and it's like all built up like Venom.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
They did like a really good thing in Marvel Universes. They don't call the Scarlet Witch the Scarlet Witch. They call her Wanda. And she just became the Scarlet Witch. I mean, how many years is that on? 4 years, 5 years, 6 years? 6 years until you've made this character essentially into like their superhero persona.
Yeah.
And the idea that this alien comes from outer space and it names itself Venom.
Yeah, I guess it might. Did they have? Are these like their real names from space?
That was one the implication.
Like Riot. Okay, so like I want to know more about their planet. I think because I'm confused on what they are. Like, do they have to form a symbiosis with like creatures on their planets, or are they? Do they just search the galaxy for things to latch on to?
That's the idea. The idea is there's a million of them or whatever in the comet. Then the comet's going to crash into Earth, and then they're going to take over all the creatures on Earth and then destroy the whole planet or eat all of us, and then build themselves a new comet and then head to the next one.
And they just go. So they're just they just eat things.
They just eat. Yeah, it's an eating thing. But just Venom? Like Riot? These are very earthy sort of words, and you know, like
I wish that it was more clear on whether like they were speaking English because they're like in our brains and they can like read that. I was a little confused on all that.
Yeah,
like do they just speak English? I don't know, because he's like in there right away. He's like, Eddie, food. I don't know.
We're gonna get to that. Oh my god, it's so bad. So so now we're in San Francisco. We got sleepy Tom Hardy. Time to get up. You've got the world's
Hold on, Dan. What? Sleepy Tom Hardy is funny for two reasons. One, because he's waking up, but two, because I actually feel like that describes his entire performance through the movie is sleepy Tom Hardy.
I will agree and disagree, because I do think we have a number of different Tom Hardys in this movie. None of who congeal into an actual character.
A person, human being.
Humanish being. And he's like, his girlfriend, Michelle Williams, just like exuding smoky hotness from every pore. And you're just like, I mean, like this first scene, you're just like, oh my God.
But it's like up against a brick wall.
Well, yeah.
Like she's sending it out, and he's just like, no, stop. I don't want to deal with this right now. I got my own shit going on. Let me do my lines. I can't remember my lines.
I got this very hard accent I got to do. I'm doing Merkin. Stop talking.
Merkin.
Trying to, with your exuding sexiness and humanity, I'm trying to not do anything because I just can't.
I can't let that affect my performance. Okay, you do you. I'll do me.
Tom. There's a cat, which I'm surprised never got eaten in the movie. I don't think he got eaten. And he gets on his...
Nor do we see the cat? I feel like we don't even see the cat.
We see the cat again because the cat's living with her when he goes and stalks her.
Yeah, okay.
And he says...
I remember them bringing it up again. I just don't remember seeing it. I'm sure you're right.
They give the cat a comedic name like Mr. Bigglesworth or something. I don't remember what it was.
Or something different.
It's some, tee-hee-hee, inside joke.
Yeah.
So he's like motorcycle reporter, the Brock report, man of the people, afraid of heights.
But real quickly, when he does his report, do you believe for a second that he's actually reporting on anything? I feel like in his notebook are his lines. Because, like, he pauses and looks
Whoa!
down and then comes back. And I was like, is he reading his lines right now? I feel like he's doing that.
So wait, do you hate Tom Hardy? Do you think Tom Hardy's a bad actor? Like,
Not before this movie, but like in this movie, I think that he is. Maybe he just doesn't give a fuck. I don't know, because the script's not good. Maybe it's like, just give me my money and I'll just show up and read my lines on the day. I'm not even going to read the script again. I read it when you pitched it to me. It sucked, and you offered me a bunch of money. Here we go. Let's do this thing. I don't know, but he's not.
You got me for 4 weeks. You better get as much out of me as you can.
Let's get this shit done.
Any prep, just get it done. If you don't got it in 4 weeks, just CGI my ass in there. You're good.
It'll be fine. People will believe it.
Stunt body double that you can just shoot from behind. You just shoot all the lines from behind. I'll do, I got 2 hours of VO contracted that I'll do any lines you need me to do. Bonus.
Call me over Skype if you need me. I'm available.
I'll Skype in any lines you need. Just set up a laptop there, and I'll spit them out. So he's got to interview Carlton Drake, which is like, talk about a person that does not look like a Carlton Drake.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. But you can't, I mean, we're going to go to dangerous ground there. I don't know what the dude's name is. He's fairly ethnic looking, but you give him like the whitest white guy prep school name, which I'm sure is the comic book name of whatever the stupid character is.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't read Venom comics, if we're being full disclosure here. I don't read them.
I read when it came, I read Spider-Man when they started with the black suit, and I remember all this sort of happening, but sure. I was pretty much out by the time it left Spider-Man and went and found Eddie Brock and took over him.
Okay.
So.
And this is Topher Grace, right? From Spider-Man 3, if I'm remembering correctly. He's Eddie Brock.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, okay. I only ever saw that movie once and have never gone back to it. So
that's plenty, Dan.
Yeah. So they're doing date night. I wrote, she works for him. I don't know what that. Oh, maybe she says that.
She works for the bad guy. I don't know if that's what you mean.
That's what it is. Yeah. She works for the bad guy. So.
But not for long. Spoiler alert.
Then we have almost sexy time. You're like, oh, wow, we're going to get. And it's like, cut. You're like, oh, man.
So again, when they're at the restaurant, he is severely lacking in charm, and she's like doing all she can to like giggle at his jokes and like really try to build this relationship. And he's like, I could talk about this stuff over here and talk about the kitchen stuff. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Who is directing this movie?
You knew this relationship wasn't going to work if you look at what shirt he was wearing. He's wearing like this plaid sort of heavy shirt, like a workman's shirt. And you're just like,
sure,
dude, put on something.
Like a Carhartt, maybe?
Yeah, Carhartt, but I don't know what the fuck that means. But I mean, it's like, even somebody as bad as me knows to put on a shirt that buttons up. If I'm going out with my wife on her birthday or something.
You're going out for it's date night. That means they scheduled this out in advance, and we're like, this will be the one night this week that we go out together and have a good time. And he's not putting in any effort. Kick this guy to the curb.
It's the big zero. And I mean,
it's the big zero.
I don't know. That just shows the general level of disrespect this character has for her. So he should not be able to get back with her. Period.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so he goes from some late night OJ after their tenderness, and he goes and gets into her computer and spies on her, and then gets all this dirt that he's going to use.
Steals her information, her private information, just takes it. Because he's like a good guy. He's a good reporter and a good guy, and we're supposed to cheer for him. I hate this guy.
I think that's sort of the thing is, he doesn't start out as like really a good guy. They're kind of playing him as this good guy, but then they have him do something that's really reprehensible and really terrible. And even when it comes to consequences, and illegal, and And it's because he's like the Crusader. If he had some, if we'd spent 5 minutes and given him a reason why he's this Crusader and why he has to do these things, but there's no reason. He doesn't have like, oh, my parents burned, the Batman, they killed my parents in front of me.
Yeah.
With Batman, we all know his parents got gunned down by bad guys when he was a kid, and that trauma is reflected in each punch that he does to the face of one of these guys. But this character is like, I'm a man of the people, but I'm willing to screw the person I supposedly love the most over.
Yeah. They're engaged.
For self-aggrandizement. It's not even to like save anybody. It's like to pump himself up.
To be like, oh, I got to get this story. This is a great story. It's going to do wonders for my internet show that I have. What a loser.
So we meet the bad guy. He's talking to some kids and being all pseudo charming. And that's when Jenny Slate shows up, and we're like, oh.
Hold on. But there's this moment in this scene when the little girl like speaks up, and one of the other, I think it's a boy. I think one of the boys in the group is like shushes her. And then this bad guy is like, hey, don't shush her. Girl, come here. You can tell us. And then he doesn't let her ask her question. He tells them not to shush her, and then Jenny Slate comes in. He's like, you know what? I don't have time for your question now, but you guys don't shush her, but shush, I gotta go. It was so dumb. Why do you set up this thing where he's like trying to pump her up and then just shut her back down? It's very weird.
Because you're making some sort of weird writer point that isn't, then you don't get to then continue on because they have other stuff to get to,
Yeah, it was dumb.
So Eddie comes in, starts with the interview, and immediately drops the stuff that he got from Michelle Williams' computer, and then, this interview is cut, get him out of school!
Right. I don't know. I feel like we did come in at the beginning of the interview, right? It wasn't like mid-interview that we came in.
Eddie walks
Maybe
up.
It was.
No. Eddie walks up.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The interview. And
so he's there. He asks
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck, dude? At least start your story. Get like some things out there. Loosen him up. You can't just jump. You can't pounce on him. This guy's got no tact.
This movie has an hour and 35 minutes to get it done. It is going to get it done.
So maybe it's on the cutting room floor is what you're saying. And then in the editing room, we're like, we got to speed it up. Let's just take out this stuff.
World's dumbest motorcycle chase. We have 2.5 hours for it. But this important character stuff, this important character stuff.
Nobody wants to see this. Get it out.
So, boom. Cut to he's at the... that was the other thing I loved. He parks his motorcycle in front of the building he works at, and then, there's the security guy, and he's like, dude, you can't park there. And he's like, no, we're bros. How's your kids? Da-da-da, and just screws him off.
Fuck you, dude.
And you're like, wait, so he's like man of the people, and he plays the man of the people card, but he's really not.
He's just a dick. He's just like a selfish asshole.
But that's the problem with this movie is he should be a selfish asshole and a total dick. And through all of this, he should come out the other end not being a dick.
Sure. Character growth. Give him an arc or something.
But instead, he's just sort of this casual dick the whole movie.
Yeah, he doesn't really grow or learn anything from what I can tell.
No. So he goes in there. He's in for the classic stern talk from the editor. And, he's like, do you have any information? He's like, I just have a hunch. And then the guy's like, oh, you're fired. Good luck.
Right. If you don't,
I didn't see that coming.
100%.
I did not see that coming. I thought, second chance, but no, it's just like,
nope. Like, all right, we're cutting you loose. Get out of here.
Which is the right thing to do. I guess that's why it was surprising, because it really was the right thing to do. He deserved it and should be cut immediately because he's an asshole and everybody knows he's an asshole. You out.
We're just used to the other way around where it's like, you did a really bad thing, but we'll let you stay on for one more story and redeem yourself.
Give us your badges and guns, but...
You're not fired, just take 1 week's paid vacation.
You still have access to all the people in the departments. And you can call them and ask them for things, and they're going to do it on the down low, but you're out, but you're not really out. And I'll punish anybody, but not really. Good luck.
But just know we are upset.
So, so then immediately he gets home. Michelle Williams fired. You used me. Take your ring back. And then she just storms off, and he just is kind of like standing there like, da-da.
Right? Like he doesn't totally get it, it seems like. It's like, I don't know, why is that such a big deal?
Well, more importantly, he doesn't even fight for her. He doesn't, like, we don't, you usually see a character through their excuses, how they're going to fight, what they're going to do. He does nothing.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. Because he's a schlub. So, through and through.
Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so the 3 aliens finally get there in the shipment. Now we cut back to Malaysia. After all this noise.
Yeah.
Now we're back at Malaysia, and monster symbiotic dude walks into town, eats an eel, kills a guy, kills more guys, and takes over an old lady.
Which, I thought that it was a pickle. Is that weird? It's like,
I'm going to explain to you why you thought it was a pickle. As stupid as it sounds that you say I thought it was a pickle, I mean, they do show him looking in a bin with multiple eels swimming around eel-like, which he then reaches into, pulls out, bites an eel. Yeah. But then in the next shot, you see the bottom of the eel, and it's like lime green.
That's what I'm saying. It looked like maybe a sea cucumber. Is that a thing? Maybe that's what I thought it was. Yeah, but I don't know. I was very confused.
But I see your confusion because I too was like, I know I saw him reach into a vat of eels and pull out an eel, and the first bite was an eel. Now the thing he's holding does not look like the eel like before.
Looks totally different.
Different eel. Yeah. Maybe it was like stunt eel, who knows. So, oh wait, God, I forgot about this. This is crazy. So he takes over this old lady, and I'm like, is this dude gonna, and we know he's going to San Francisco because he tore the patch off and looked at a patch or some stupid thing like that.
Yeah.
And then you're like, is this old lady gonna walk all the way to San Francisco in 6 months?
Well, he's also gonna swim a little, because you got to get across an ocean, right? I don't know my geography, Dan.
Yeah, I understand. Do you know anything? Do you know about Malaysia, Tony? Is that a real country or a made-up?
I know that Derek Zoolander has to kill the prime minister at one point, but
thank God there is some information in that brain. Some information. Okay, so we get the classic thing that I love in movies: 6 months later.
Yeah. Great jump. Great time jump here. Because we were just kind of building to something. It felt like it's like, the monster's killing some people and coming over. He just got dumped, so he's going to have to redeem himself. And it's just like, nah, let's take a break. Come back later.
Wallow. So we do the rabbit test with the symbiote, and we find out it's a symbiote. Ba-dum-bum. And then he's like, begin human trials. And everyone's kind of like,
Rightfully so, because it felt a little soon, especially because didn't the bunny die?
Yeah. And there's this whole thing where it can't survive in our oxygen atmosphere unless it bonds with the thing.
Yeah.
There's just all these sort of vague rules that aren't really rules that they just like to say because they're vague rules. So now we check back with Eddie. He's living the bar life. Life is one monumental screw up. Aren't you Eddie Brock? And I the one guy says to him in the bar, aren't you Eddie Brock? And I was like, okay, here comes, I used to be.
I was.
No, I used to be.
Is that what it was? I used to be. I thought I was. Shoot.
I used to be.
I like I was better.
Well, the line I would write if I was a hack writer was I used to be, and they wrote that hack line. So now he's at the liquor store.
Once upon a midnight dreary. That's what I would have wrote.
There it is.
Crushed it. So that's a home run.
He's in the liquor store owner lady, like, Eddie, you got to clean up your life. And he's like,
probably not.
What are you talking about? I like him alive. So he goes back there, and then the shakedown artist comes in and shakes her down, and he's like hiding.
Totally cowers. Yeah.
And
listen, I don't want to get shot either, Dan. All right.
No, I understand it if it's you or I. We would cower like dogs. We would be like, we'd throw our wallets up there towards the guy because we didn't want to get
She'd
shot.
be like, just in case you saw me, here's my wallet. Please don't shoot.
But like, you know, I don't know. This is not you're not really building this character to a place that I like. He's just like getting more and more cringy and gross.
Yeah, just digging his own grave here in my own mind.
So we go back to his apartment. He has like a shitty apartment in the Tenderloin.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. It's small and it's dirty, but like it's cute. It's got like a neon sign outside. I was like, that's kind of fun.
He's killing his plant. He's looking for work. He's meditating. Okay, I'm going to tell you something about San Francisco. You cannot live in the city if you do not have work.
For 6 months, Dan.
6 months.
That is a long time. Okay.
And there's just no way Eddie has like a savings. This character does not have a savings. Not
a chance.
You know,
in fact, I would imagine that he was living off of Michelle Williams because she's like a lawyer. That's just me.
Like
but
super hot lawyer. Amazingly hot lawyer. So we set up that he has a neighbor that plays guitar and is obnoxious. Whatever.
Okay. Quick question about that though, because is it just me or is the way they do the guitar music wrong? Because instead of making it sound like it's coming through the walls really loudly, they just play it at the same way they play the soundtrack. And so half the time when they were doing it, I was just like, I can't tell if this is music underscore or if this is the neighbor. I don't know.
They didn't base it. The thing I liked is he's walking up and the neighbor's like macking on his girl, and he says something like, asshole. You know, he says something like really stupid, and you're kind of like, why is he like this guy's macking on this girl? Like, that's
why he's mad. He's like, mad. Oh, you can get a woman, but I can't. I'm Eddie Brock.
Yeah, you need to up the bass on the guitar. You know, make it
something. Some sort of sound design.
See, I'd have made him a bass player. She's like, oh, the bass player, the bass
Slap at the bass.
It should have been played by Flea. It would have been perfect. So we're doing human trials. Lo and behold, it kills a guy. Next volunteer.
They are volunteers though, right?
Well, the idea is you go to Skid Row or the equivalent, and then you say, oh, I'll give you $1,000 if you partake in this test. And then they tear the $1,000 bill in half and give them one half, and then they do the trial, and then they die.
Dan, it sounds like you thought this out too much. I regret asking you.
Yeah, I used to work at a place.
I used to work at a place. Oh, no. Oh, Dan.
So Jenny Slate, and then I wrote, I don't care, something else. He tells her to be afraid, done helping. I don't know what any of that means.
Dan, I can't read your chicken scratch. I don't know.
Basically, she starts freaking out about the situation.
As she should. Yeah, rightfully so. They're killing people. And this is when she then goes and talks to Tom Hardy.
Soon, very soon.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the scene after the next scene, because the next scene is Eddie going to super hot ex-girlfriend's apartment and being a freaking super creep. And then she pulls up right at the moment, and she has this cool new boyfriend whose name is Dan. Yes. His name is...
And I do like him a lot. And he's a doctor. He's very nice. Like, he's super nice to Eddie and, like, accommodating. And then he's like, you know what? I'll let you two kind of talk out your shit. But this is, like, the most understanding, nicest doctor of all time. Lock him down, Michelle.
Nicest guy named Dan. I mean,
well,
he's named Dan, so we understand that that's just, like, people know he's
just
cool.
A good guy. He's
guy.
Just, like, a really great guy.
You're like, oh man, if I'm Michelle Williams, I'm looking for a guy named Dan.
Dan. I happen to know one, Michelle, if you're looking.
If you're watching this, there's a lot of people named Dan out there in the world. I wrote, she moved on quick. She moved on very quick.
Well, he's a beautiful doctor. A beautiful, kind-hearted doctor. I'm moving in too.
And he's kind of like, why me? Why me? And she's like, you did this. You did this. Like, he's confused.
Like, my problem, he blames other people as well. Like, he like deflects the blame. I don't like this guy. This guy's not someone I root for.
But not in like sort of a interesting way. More like in like, no. He's just kind of a low-level jerk. You know,
100%. Yeah.
And you sort of don't, because he's like such a low-level jerk, you don't want him to succeed in coming back from being a jerk.
Yeah. Not even a little bit. Because I just don't care.
I always go back to the Scrooged thing. You know, Bill Murray in Scrooged was such a phenomenal jerk.
So good.
That you felt good when he actually, something grew in his heart. Because you were like, even a gigantic, you know, this guy, you're just like, oh, will you just go with the symbiote and go away? Go away. Go.
You guys just go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Go home. E.T. phone home.
There it is.
They made that joke and I didn't like it.
What?
They made the joke in the movie.
Oh, no. You're right. You're right. That is when he met Jenny Slate. Right, because Jenny Slate was in the thing, and she was like, "I don't care." That's what happened. He says, "I don't care." So he meets Jenny Slate, but then she gives her the card, and he's like, "I'm done helping. You should be afraid because I lost my job." And you're like, "You lost your job? Who the hell cares? You lost your job." I mean, it wasn't even barely his fault that you lost your job.
Yeah, she's like, "You should be afraid of him." He's something like that, and he's like, I am. I know exactly what kind of guy he is. He ruined my life. And I was like, no, he didn't. You 100% did that yourself. You fucking idiot.
That dude made the right call, which is to call the newspaper and say, what the hell is your guy doing?
Yeah, you came to do a story on X, and instead he's like doing this slander piece, and that is not okay.
Yeah, we're on the side of the villain, not on Eddie's side.
I know. It's not good.
Good job, Eddie. So he goes to the bridge. He's thinking about jumping. We're all like, do it, save us. But instead,
is that what he's doing? He's contemplating suicide?
Of course he is. Because
I didn't even get that.
Yeah, because, I mean, they didn't go there completely because this is a movie of half measures. You know, a real movie would have actually pushed him to the brink, you know, would have had him on the street, would have, like, you know, really pushed him. But instead, you can't push him because he has to have a cell phone. So he calls Jenny Slate, and then she just magically sneaks him in. Like, past guards, past everything, the, you know, most contained facility in the world. No, come on in.
Well, I mean, she's got the badge, Dan. The badge is the power. Okay.
So he's just walking around, taking pictures, and then he sees Maria, this homeless woman that he'd seen before. And
his best friend.
And then he starts pushing buttons randomly like an idiot.
And not even like, it's not like he's pushing one button at a time. Like, he starts like pushing the whole thing like a child, just like, do something. It's idiot.
And then she's like going nuts. And so there's like, whip, whip, whip. And, you know, shh. And so, of course, there's the requisite fire extinguisher, which he is able to break down the door with.
It's not a very safe door.
No, not
if that's all it takes to break it down.
So then the alien jumps out and possesses him. And
now the movie finally begins.
I should have written down when this occurred, because this is when the movie finally begins. And so then he starts parkouring. He runs out there. He runs. He jumps. He does a thing. And this is the part of the movie that made me the angriest.
Oh, interesting.
They have super duper jeeps to patrol the forest outside of this research facility. They have patrol jeeps and this giant security force that can be marshaled in literally 1 second.
It's pretty cool. Like, good. It's a good investment for the company, Dan. Okay, I don't know.
for jeeps to patrol the forest outside. Like, why? You have a fence.
As a guy that loves his toys, I'm in. I'm like, good thinking, great job.
So they're chasing him, and then he's standing there, and then they're driving right towards him, and then somehow they don't see him jump up into the trees.
And even if they don't see him jump up into the trees, they're all converging from different points and they meet in the middle. He couldn't have gone anywhere else. Just look the fuck up. Just look up, you idiots. They're all like, well, I guess he just vanished because there's only, he can only go this direction. Ugh, God.
It was
so stupid.
It was so dumb. Now, like, Tony, wait, you were saying Sleepy Tom Hardy.
Sleepy Tom, yeah.
This is when Tom goes into his next acting phase, which is
Crazy Tom?
Sweaty Tom Hardy.
Sweaty Tom! And for the record, I think Sweaty Tom is my favorite Tom.
It's your favorite? Well, there's something going on, at least, sort of.
Yeah, he woke up a little bit.
But it's terrible. So he's like,
of course it's terrible.
He's like hungry, so hungry. So he's like, start eating tater tots. We haven't gotten to the voice yet.
Okay, sorry. But okay, can we talk about the tater tots for a second? Yeah. Just real quickly. If you're going to try to eat tater tots fast, Dan, is your best option to A, cut open a little hole in the bag and just keep them coming in a steady train, or B, throw them the fuck all over your apartment so you only get 2 tots? What is he doing? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, we have another rule about this, that he has to only eat live food. And so he can't eat non-live food, which is is an interesting thing. But we sort of play it out so terribly that we...
And also, is it a rule?
Yes, it is a rule.
Because at the end of the movie, he's like, hey, what should we have for dinner tonight? And he's like, something in chocolate. I don't remember what he said, but neither of those things were alive.
He says tots. He does say tots.
Tots and chocolate. That's right.
I was going
So it's not a rule.
But it is a rule. And that's why...
Until that point.
I was going to bring up that joke as the other thing I hated most about this movie. Is because it's a joke that goes against your own rule from the monster that sets the rules. And more importantly...
I mean, 100%. Yeah.
Other than the one person he eats, or maybe he eats a cop too, I think, at one point. Does he eat anything other than the lobster?
Not as Venom, as Eddie?
I mean, the only things he eats are like a couple of people and like that one lobster, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, whatever. So he's barfing and all this kind of thing. And then we cut back the bad guy and he's like, find my symbiote. Find him.
Find him. Do it! So
somehow he tracks down Michelle Williams at her fancy dinner with this really cool new boyfriend named Dan.
The greatest Dan I've ever met. I'll just say that.
A great Dan, because there's
he's the great Dan. Dan the great one. That's how we call him. No.
So he starts doing a thing, then he's freaking out, then he's eating food on other people's things. Then finally he ends up in the lobster tank and starts eating the lobsters.
Yeah.
And then we transition to him being at the hospital getting an MRI.
Yep. Yeah.
This would have been like a 2-hour conversation of getting him out of there.
For sure.
You have set up this untenable situation, Eddie in the lobster tank, in the fancy,
just eating $100 lobsters like nothing.
So, we do the MRI, and he freaks out.
Yeah.
And they might have split. That's when they split the creature from him. Was that the MRI? Is that when the creature?
No, the MRI is the first time we understand that frequencies affect it, but they don't separate it yet.
So we try the MRI. Nothing really happens. Jenny Slate gets busted. Like we care.
Yeah.
Then we establish that the symbiotes hate certain sounds.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, now we've got Eddie riding on the cable car because they're in San Francisco, so you have to do an obligatory cable car thing.
Right. Which, by the way, I've been told my wife moved there for school, and supposedly locals don't ride the cable cars.
No one rides the cable cars.
That's what I was told. And I was like, first of all, if I lived there, I would. So I am that guy.
You wouldn't.
Maybe not for long. I think the first couple times you're definitely going to do it. And then you'll probably be like, well, this is fucking stupid. Why am I doing this right now?
No, you don't ride them because you're not in that area.
Really?
Do you ride the Angels? Okay, I believe there's only one cable car route, and it just sort of is in this one touristy area. You know, it's not all over the town. It's like,
They make it seem like that in movies.
Sure, because they go there and they shoot there because it's very picturesque. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Do you ride the Angels Flight funicular here in Los Angeles all the time, Tony?
No, I never once in my life.
Yeah, exactly, because you're never in that neighborhood where you need to ride it.
I'm gonna go there now.
You know, it's like
I'll see it in an hour.
It's like if there was like this little red trolley car in Compton, I'd say, Tony, do you often ride the little red trolley car in Compton? You'd be like, no, I don't ever go to Compton.
But maybe. I don't know.
So
I don't remember what we were talking about. Sorry, I derailed it.
Okay, so now he's on the cable car. He's getting a call with Dan. You've got a parasite. He's back at home, the loud neighbor. So he goes over, bangs on the door, and this is when we get like some of the worst special effects ever. Like,
is this the first time we see the face?
Yeah. It's not a full face. It's just like white eyes.
No, it's just like the eyes. Yeah.
And it just looks so stupid.
Yes, it does.
It's just so stupid.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because being that it's the first time you see it, I would have liked it to have been cool.
It's not.
So then I'm like, oh, cool, let's see some more of this guy. But as it stands, I was like, oh, great, more of that's going to come down the pike. Can't wait.
And so that dude's going to stop making it. The Elon Musk character makes Jenny give up Eddie, so now they know Eddie. And now we get to the point where Venom starts to talk. I just hated the whole Venom talking thing. I just hated it.
Well, it's stupid.
Stupid.
And here's the thing. There are a couple times where it made me laugh. Like there were a couple of jokes that landed. But it was like the actual voice itself detracted from it, I feel like.
Eddie, don't do that now, Eddie. It's just so on the money, but there's nothing you can do. It becomes a character of itself.
Yes. I mean, it starts that way.
No more tots, Eddie. Wait, is this the motorcycle chase?
Yes. Yeah, it is. That's in my notes as well.
Yeah, so
right?
then we have the motorcycle chase. And Venom wants to eat them all. So we find out that he has to eat people, and we have this protracted 7 or 8 minute motorcycle chase, which I didn't write down anything about it because it was so dumb.
I did write down one thing.
Oh, cool.
And what I wrote down is at one point, Tom is driving the motorcycle, and he's like, there's like a barrier of some sort, and he's like, oh, this is a dead end. And the voice is like, not for us. And then they drive over it, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, they're going to get away. But then the 2 cars that are chasing them also jumped this like thing. And I was like, so it's not a dead end for anybody. 0 people were stopped by this dead end. So why is that even in your movie? There's no reason to have that line there if nobody is stopped by the dead end. It's not a dead end.
And then I think at the end he... oh, no. Then there's a drone chase after this. Oh,
yeah, the drone is also dumb.
So
it's technically all a part of the same thing, I think, right? I don't know.
I wrote down what's his name has a giant command center, and then I also said that at times Eddie seemed like he was played by Bobcat Goldthwait. He does this vocal thing that is very Bobcat Goldthwait.
No, you're right. He does.
Okay, so now we have the drone chase, and this is where he eats a guy's head, which I thought was a cop as opposed to one of the bad guys.
Oh, is it? Hey, maybe it is. Who knows?
It seemed like it was a cop. It must have been one of the bad guys.
All I know is that he literally bites a man's head off, and there's not a speck of blood to be seen anywhere. I mean, come on, guys.
PG-13, baby.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's stupid.
So at a certain point, he venoms up and he jumps in the ocean. Oh, and it fixes his broken legs. His legs are both broken, and when he turns into Venom, it just fixes it. Fixes everything. Magic fix
ties it right up. I wish I had a Venom.
Yeah, I wish you did too.
Tony.
Okay, so then we have this whole scene where we do like a 2-person where the Venom turns into like a goopy snake and then comes over there and
the talking head. Yeah.
Which
is this where he says, "I'm in your head and I know everything about you"?
Could be.
Do you have stuff to say about the scene? Because I have something to. No. Okay. I don't know if it's this scene exactly, but there's a 1-2 punch where in one scene he's talking to Venom and Venom's like, "I'm inside your head. I know everything about you." But then the next scene, Venom sees Anne for the first time and he's like, "Who's that?" It's like, what do you mean, who's this? You just said you knew everything about him. You're inside his head. You don't know his fucking fiance? The one woman that like his entire mission of the movie is to get back with? You don't know her? Come on, guys. Come on.
Is that really the mission of the movie, is to get back with his girlfriend?
I mean, it's not the mission of the movie, but I feel like it's one of his personal missions in the movie because he shows up at her house and he's like, "I just miss you. I miss you. I want to get back together. Why don't you get back together with me?" And she's like, "Nah, dude." And then later in the movie at the end, they're like, "Yeah, well, why don't we get back together?" And she's like, "No, I don't know, man."
But maybe. she puts in that, but maybe.
Well, she did kiss him. Yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
So symbiote number 1 has gotten to town. He's gone into a little girl and then gotten on a plane and then landed. And then also right in the next scene, we find out that they can't handle the plane noises because I guess Eddie's venoming around.
Yeah, which is confusing.
So somehow the one can take the plane, but Eddie can't listen to a plane.
Maybe earplugs. Maybe that one wised up. Is that Riot?
Yes.
Okay, so Riot's the one making the journey. Got it.
Yes, Riot is the one making the journey. So Dr. Dan says he's dying. They MRI him up, and that splits the symbiote.
And they trap it in the room.
They sort of trap it in the room, and he just immediately bails. Eddie's just like, bye-bye.
And he's like, "Oh, cool, it's gone. Deuces, thanks for your help, guys."
And they're left standing there. Literally, the guy who's supposedly trying to get his girlfriend back is like, "Peace out." And then the symbiote bails, and he gets inside a dog.
And this is, hold on, 2 things I have to say. In the scene where Eddie bails and he leaves Michelle and Dr. Dan, Dr. Dan is like, "What's going on here?" And she's like, "Well, what are you talking about? Eddie and I aren't getting back together." And of course he's talking about the fucking alien that just came out of her ex-boyfriend, not the fact that he thinks there's something between them. It's such a dumb line. It infuriated me.
It is a dumb line. Because it's like, when you're staring down alien horror, you're not worried about your relationship status.
Right, like who gives a shit anymore?
We're still good, right? I mean, the weird, sweaty guy filled with an alien that seems half paranoid. You don't think he's sexy anymore, do you? So the bad guys.
But on the flip side, Dan, the dog, adorable. Yeah, dog's super cute. So cute.
Oh, we just had this new dog move in next door, little tiny Pomeranian. He is the cutest little powder puff. Oh my God. You want to eat him like he's ice cream. Oh God, he's so sweet.
Oh, just like Venom would.
Okay, So we've got Eddie's in the chair. They're torturing him, and he headbutts a guy. This guy, who is the biggest wuss in the world, like lets his friends get robbed from, like cowers, like is headbutts a guy now.
Yeah, like full on throat. I will never headbutt anybody because I know that my head very sensitive, Dan. Okay, so I don't want to inflict that damage upon myself.
How did the brain damage happen? Well, Tony got mad at a
it's
guy.
been over years and years of abuse and neglect.
And what happened to the other guy? Oh no, he was fine. Just
yeah, I wouldn't worry about him at all. He's doing great.
Just Tony. So he has one up his ass too.
Right.
Eddie.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Eddie,
Great line.
So does the dog get? See, I fell asleep during this movie again. So the funniest thing is I fell asleep and missed the part where the riot alien went into what's-his-name. So when what's-his-name turned into an alien, I figured it was one of the other canister aliens. So I thought the riot alien was still heading back. And I really thought there was going to be like this bonus third act at the end where that alien was really the bad alien.
Was coming
And the big stupid fight at the end of this movie wasn't the big stupid fight, and then it was the big stupid fight at the end. And I was very pleased because then I was like, "Oh, thank God!"
It's like, "Oh, good, it's over." I'm so happy it's over.
So how did the dog?
I did not fall asleep, Dan, but I could not tell you when it transfers from the dog to the bad guy. Okay. I have absolutely no idea. I was waiting.
No, Eddie escapes.
Yes.
It transfers back into him because it got into Michelle Williams. That's what it is.
Oh, yes.
But
yes,
how does he escape?
I don't know, man.
Because he's in the torture chair. Wait, he's in the torture chair.
Yeah.
And somehow he then gets out to the forest. How does that happen?
Yeah, I got no notes on it. I don't remember.
So somehow
she must come save him because
she's in the forest.
So he gets out on his own accord.
Somehow he escapes.
So he is a superhero. Don't worry about it. This movie makes sense.
So he escapes, and then out in the forest he meets sexy Lady Venom, which
Sexy Lady Venom is okay by me.
She was pretty sexy. She was horrifying looking, but it was kind of sexy.
It might be weird, but I'd be like, okay, cool. Do what you got to do. I'm here for it.
All the better that super sexy alien Venom is Michelle Williams inside there. I'm like,
it's super sexy lawyer. So, also good. It's a win-win situation.
So they have a big sexy Venom kiss scene, which actually was kind of sexy. It's a weird way.
It didn't make any sense, but yeah, other than that, it was great.
So now Venom is back in Eddie, and here's another line that I really hated. Venom's like, "Yeah, I was kind of a loser on my planet."
Oh God, this whole fucking speech is so dumb. Like is this also the speech where he's like, let's save the world?
Because he doesn't want all those squares coming to this world and ruining it for him.
It's such a weird turn out of nowhere. Like, for a character that's not even really a character, all of a sudden you just totally change everything about him. It's very confusing.
He's a loser, and now he wants to fight for Earth to keep all of his brethren coming here and
then Eddie Brock is like, "What really changed your mind?" He's like, "You did, Eddie." And I was like, "When? When the fuck did that happen? Eddie hasn't done anything cool this entire movie." If anything, if I were Venom and I was in Eddie, I would be like, "Wow, these people really do suck. Let's eat them all right now."
It's really dumb. So there we start the big battle scene. Let's go save the planet. So they go out there, and Riot has all these bonus things. He can make bonus axes and clubs, which Venom can't do, and that makes him, because he's more powerful, he can make more rocks. But
makes him sad.
But I just love that they kept on the fight every time they would punch him closer to the rocket, punch him closer to the rocket, punch him closer to the rocket.
Which is where he wants to go.
I'm like, why don't you? So stupid. And then at some point, Michelle Williams' character has gotten into the command center, and then she has tuned up the sound that hurts them on this machine that she somehow is connected.
And she's like, "See, I can fight dirty." Come on, guys.
And then, gets in the thing, and then he cuts the thing, and he blows up, and then Venom falls in the water. Yep. Big action scene. You want to say anything about the big action scene? Big.
No, it was just pretty lackluster to me. I don't know. But that might be because I don't really like the CGI of this movie. So then watching a CGI battle is like, ugh, I'm bored.
And once again, we go back to Terminator 2, right? Terminator 2, okay. What would he do? He'd go, swing, and he'd make like the pointy thing, and then he'd put it right next to your eyeball, and you'd be like, ah! In this thing, it's like, I just shot 1,000 spikes out. I have a hammer as big as the world. I have this. It's
like, okay.
The bigger something is, it's not more menacing or amazing. It becomes more boring the bigger it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the bigger and the dumber the fight. I always remember in I think it was in X2, they're in the Blackbird and they're flying and they're having problems. And you're just like, if this plane crashes into the thing, most of the people on this plane are going to just die.
They're all dead.
Just going to die. And you're like, here's the jeopardy of life is people die. And that's why Captain America is always my favorite one of the Marvel things. Is although he's super strong, you put enough stuff on him, he's going to die. He's going to get crushed.
For sure.
If Hulk punches his face, and there's concrete behind there, Captain America's probably going to die. Yeah. Hulk could pull Captain America's arms off like he's a fly. Yeah, maybe. Captain America's pretty strong. But, Black Widow, let's say. He could pull Black Widow's legs off like a spider and she'd be dead. Then she'd get robot arms. Uh-oh, we cut out.
1 second. I've lost you. Stand by. These are dead.
Your headphones?
How about now? Now talk to me.
I can hear you.
All right.
Your headphones just died?
Yeah, they sure did.
They just died.
They're the worst. Bluetooth. I'm going to stop wearing those.
Oh, it's Bluetooth. So it just decided to die.
Yeah, they've done it before too, and I keep risking it.
So the point I was making was, if the Hulk catches the Black Widow, he just pulls her limbs off of her, and she's dead, right? And so there's some jeopardy if the Black Widow is fighting the Hulk. But if the Hulk's fighting the Hulk, it's just the Hulk fighting the Hulk, and it's
just smashy.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It gets boring at a certain point.
Yeah.
And this movie got very boring at the point of the final battle because it was just these two rubber aliens.
I was already pretty bored. So it just got more boring. I was already pretty low.
So now we get back there. We're on the steps of Michelle Williams' building. She's joining the public defenders. Oh, shucks. Sorry about Venom. They talk about the kiss. And then Venom's, we think that Venom's gone, but no, he's not. You belong to us, Annie. Can't we go eat some people? Oh. And then he goes to the liquor store and he sees the shakedown guy, and then he eats the shakedown guy completely?
Just 100%. I all the way gone. Oh, no bones, no blood, just swallowed him whole. And then the lady is just cool with it.
She is. I mean, I guess because you've seen something you can't process, so you should be like, "What? What? Just
sure?
Where's that guy?" Because it's your classic case of, I'm sure Venom would eat him and wouldn't. Like when a snake eats a big thing. A snake eats an impala. There's this big bump in the snake.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be very funny if this big
had a person shaped.
And that's Venom. And I blame the writers, I blame the casting agents, I blame the director, I blame mostly the studio executives at whatever stupid studio made this movie, because it's just terrible.
I mean, it's top to bottom, pretty much. There's not a whole lot of redeeming qualities of the movie. But the great news is that we're getting a second one, and we'll have to do that when it comes out on the podcast.
And maybe Dan will be back, and he'll be the star. Maybe
I hope Dan he'll be the star.
He'll like sort of make some like potion that cures venomness or something.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that's going to be good.
But it's like it's a stupid character. Period. It's just a stupid character.
Yeah. It's tough. I think it would be tough to do well.
Well, what's the real dynamic tension? I thought the dynamic tension was this thing was constantly trying to make him kill, and he was having to, it was like a vampire thing. This thing was trying to make him kill. And
he should be fighting against the impulses, the venomness.
Yeah,
his humanity and the venomness should like battle.
I mean, not that we're going to talk about the stupid Joker movie, because once again, I watched part of it and fell asleep. We're going to do that movie at some point. That thing was about Joker v. society.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. I really thought this movie was going to be Venom v. society, where this guy was symbiotically linked with Venom, and he was having to deal with it, and it was ruining his life. And so the conflict was, the conflict was like, chocolate and tater tots. Like, oh God, really? Chocolate tater
tots. That's good. We didn't talk about the end clip with Woody Harrelson.
Oh,
did you watch that?
No.
Oh, it's the post credits clip. They're introducing Carnage for the sequel, which is a big red monster.
Same thing. It's another one of the guys. And
he's cooler though. He kills a lot of people because Carnage. His name's Carnage. He causes a lot of carnage, and it's gonna be good.
So
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I can wait. So, Tony, before you tell us what movie we're doing next time, hopefully you picked a movie we're doing next time, tell us about something you liked this week.
Something that I enjoyed, and I emphasize because I was the only one in this house that really enjoyed it. She thought it was okay. It's a movie called The Buddy Games, and it's got an all-star cast. Josh Duhamel.
Oh,
this is his directorial debut. Dax Shepard.
Oh God.
Kevin Dillon. I know there's a bunch of people. Nick Swartzen's in it.
The stars just. Were there any women in this movie?
I know, it's great. What?
Were there any women? Females?
Yeah, Olivia Munn is a woman in the movie.
I like her.
And I think there was like another one. It's about a group of friends that kind of grow apart, but they have this thing called the Buddy Games where they get back together and they compete with each other. And they took some time off because something happened. It's intense. No spoilers, but it's ridiculous. And then they get back together one last time to do it again. It's fun. It's stupid. It's one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen, but in like a good way, in a way that I enjoyed.
Wow. Ringing endorsement.
Just watch it. What do you got?
I have the only thing important that happened this week, and that is the trailer for the new Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, we're probably going to disagree on that then.
You did not love the trailer for the new Suicide movie?
I did not like the trailer for the new Suicide Squad. But part of that is that, and this is probably a whole conversation we're not going to have on here, I thoroughly enjoyed the original Suicide Squad.
Yeah, so what?
So part of me's bitter that everyone hated that movie, and they're like, oh, there's no plot. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about plot. The movie's not about the plot. The movie's about these hilarious characters interacting. Anyhow, so this movie, I honestly don't know. I didn't like the trailer. I didn't laugh.
You didn't laugh.
I didn't laugh during the trailer.
John Cena's.
Oh, you're right. John Cena's one line when they're like in the ship. I don't remember what he was talking about.
They're walking.
The penises? Something about dicks, right? Yeah, that part made me laugh. John Cena is A+ in my book.
Yeah. I mean, there were only 2 jokes in the. Well, there were 3 real jokes. No, there were 4 real jokes in the thing. The first joke was when Harley Quinn comes up there and they're in the middle of trying to rescue her, and she's just standing there, which wasn't a super big joke, but it was. I mean, she did her bit, and she's amazing.
Margot Robbie's incredible. And I love Birds of Prey. And I'm going to withhold my judgment until I see the movie.
Now wait,
but it felt extra in this scene, as opposed to like Margot doing her Harley. It felt extra.
Okay,
felt like she was pushing it.
Hold on. Okay, then we were inside, and there's the weasel creature licking the door. You did not find that funny.
I didn't, but only because I was like, I don't understand what's happening right now. What is this movie about? Where's Will Smith?
Oh, you want stupid Will Smith in the movie. That's your problem.
Listen, I would have given my left leg to have Will Smith back.
You're bent out of shape because stupid Will Smith is not going to ruin this movie, too.
Ruin it. He's so good in the original. So Come on. Oh, he's an A+. A+. Okay. Him, Margot, and fucking Boomerang. Surprisingly, I liked him a lot in the first one.
He was good. You didn't like any of the King Shark things. You didn't like the way King Shark looked. You didn't go like, oh my God.
I thought they did a good job. We've been, not to yeah. I liked King Shark. I think he's going to be interesting, and I want to watch him eat a bunch of people.
And it's going to be Stallone. So it's going to be hilarious, Stallone doing that voice. Okay, when they're doing the bit with the mastermind dude, and she's like, no personalized license plate, no coughing without covering your mouth. You didn't like those jokes.
I didn't.
You don't like Harley Quinn.
And then I didn't like. My least favorite part of the original is, I can't think of his name. The army dude that is back again,
Rick
like
Flag.
the leader. Yeah, Flag. I think that guy's garbage. I don't know what else he's in. I think he's terrible, and I honestly think that he ruins the joke in the trailer. When he comes back, he's like, "Oh yeah, but don't think that you can cough without covering your mouth." I was like, "Well, that ruined the joke for me. Thanks, bud, you idiot."
Last joke. What about when the polka dot guy turns and they say, lots of you are gonna die? He's like, "Oh, I certainly hope so." You didn't like that joke?
No. But I think in more context, I might like it. I think I need to know his character for that to make me laugh.
You're just pissed off about stupid what's his name not being in the movie.
I am very bitter.
That's what you're pissed
I will be honest.
about.
I'm
That's
bitter.
What it's all about. I'm going home because I don't get my Will Smith a dead shot.
That's right.
Okay, Tony, what movie are we doing next week? Because you have no class.
No class. Speaking of no class, this I think that we're just gonna finally do the movie that we've talked about for since we started this thing, because I want to have a week where I get to make fun of you constantly. So we're just gonna do Twilight. I just want to do it, and really? I want to just be able to rip into you.
You gotta try and find bad things to say about a perfect movie.
When you say things like that, it's almost hard to refute because it's so crazy.
We'll see.
It's gonna be fun. I haven't watched it in probably a decade, so I'm genuinely excited to go back and look at it.
So am I. Because I probably only ever saw it the one time, which probably was maybe a year after it came out,
after release,
and I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie for what it was meant to be. I mean, is it the greatest movie of all time? Possibly, but I'm gonna find that out.
Possibly. Oh, Dan.
Tony, you're so hateful. So filled with.
It's true. It's true. I'm filled with rage.
Rage and hate. Just can't.
I'll tell you right now, if Will Smith was in Twilight, I would have loved it.
You're a garbage person, Tony. Garbage.
You're right about that, Dan.
Well, I think we've stuck at the old Venom, and poor Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's going to have to go off and find some real role, real movie with that big pile of cash that he's sitting on. God, he's going to be in the next one too, isn't he? Well, maybe they'll figure.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure. Also, we didn't really mention, but this movie made like $800,000 at the box office, so it did fine. Million, 800 million.
Did it really do?
It made $72 at the box office, so it did great, guys.
Did it really do 800 million? It did really big numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know if it was like foreign, domestic. I don't know the actual breakdown of the numbers, but overall it did real well.
That's probably worldwide, and that's really good money. But so did they do Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies? They must have.
Yeah, they did 2 of them. The Amazing Spider-Man. You don't remember those?
I couldn't tell you anything about those movies. Was one of those the one where Alfred Molina played Dr. Octopus?
Nope, that's Tobey Maguire.
I have to figure out what those movies are. I don't really remember. Because that new kid is so good.
Alfred Molina is so good in that movie.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. So good. And he's like talking to the arms. You listen to me now. So good, man. I remember it. Remember it very well. It's great stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Go to church. Tell all the other church members. Maybe you should go to the bathroom. Write something on the bathroom wall. Hate watching Dan and
Don't
Tony.
promote graffiti, Dan. This is not.
But only in bathrooms you own. If you own a bathroom, you can write that on the wall. Because we are not.
If it's your bathroom, just say for a good time, call yourself. It'll be good. It's a good bit.
What does that mean?
You never in like public restroom for a good time, call this number. I've never called them, but I've always been interested.
Tony, that's very wrong. You should not call those numbers. Probably.
I don't call them, and I don't scratch anything into the stalls. I'm just saying, I don't do it. I don't believe in defacing public property.
Okay, until next time when we get to revisit one of the world's greatest movies, Twilight. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Hey,